What if one healthy nut you eat every day is quietly pushing your kidney numbers in the wrong direction without you feeling a thing? Have you noticed how, in your 60 seconds or 70 seconds, the habits you used to get away with suddenly show up, not as pain, but on a lab report? Here's the uncomfortable truth that can protect you. Your 70 seconds aren't the same as your 50 seconds, and your kidneys change with time. And here's the surprise. If you're over 50 and eating almonds daily because you think it's heart healthy, you may be adding stress to kidneys that are already working harder. Not because almonds are bad, and not because you did anything wrong. It's because kidney nutrition has one rule most people never learn. Not all nuts are created equal. Some nuts act like gentle bodyguards, while others can quietly raise the wrong risks: potassium, phosphorus, even kidney stones, especially in the bad portions. Today, I'll make this simple. We'll cover 4 angel nuts and 3 to be cautious with, along with the exact portion sizes by age at the end. And tell me, what nut do you always keep in your house and snack on each week? Let's explore now. Let's address the significant contradiction that frustrates many people. Seniors hear something like this after a lab test. Your creatinine is high. Limit protein. Avoid nuts. And in certain situations, especially in advanced kidney disease, there can be reasons for caution. But newer research has complicated the old, simplistic message. In a 2022 study of more than 6,000 adults, individuals who consumed nuts 1 to 6 times per week had approximately a 33% lower risk of chronic kidney disease compared to those who didn't. In other words, when nuts are chosen wisely and eaten in reasonable patterns, they don't automatically harm the kidneys. In many cases, they may be part of a protective lifestyle. So why do people feel like they're getting opposite advice? Because one phrase has done a lot of damage in nutrition. Nuts. It's treated like one food, but it isn't one food. It's a whole category, like saying vegetables. Some vegetables are gentle on the kidneys, others are high in potassium or oxalates. Same with nuts. If you take nothing else from today, remember this: the nut world has heroes and troublemakers, and the difference can matter more than most people realize. Now, before we name names, let's make sure creatinine itself makes sense, because once you understand what creatinine is, the rest becomes much easier to follow. Creatinine is not a mysterious poison. It's not a curse. It's a standard waste product that your body produces every day, primarily from muscle activity. Picture your muscles like a car engine. They're running, moving, doing their job. Creatinine is part of the exhaust. When your kidneys are healthy, they filter out the excess into your urine. However, when the kidneys begin to fatigue, whether due to age, high blood pressure, diabetes, long-term inflammation, dehydration, certain medications, or years of wear and tear, creatinine can start to accumulate in the blood. That's why high creatinine levels are often one of the first signs that your kidneys need attention. And here's what makes kidney health so tricky and, honestly, so unfair sometimes. Your kidneys are quiet. They don't complain loudly the way your back does. They don't burn like heartburn. They can lose a large amount of function before you feel anything obvious. Many people don't realize there's a problem until their numbers have been drifting for a long time. That's why food choices matter so much here. With kidneys, you don't usually get a dramatic warning. You get a trend line. You get gradual changes. And that's also why I don't want you to feel scared, because fear makes people freeze. What you need is clarity so that you can make calm, realistic choices. So let's build that clarity right now. I want you to imagine a nutrition pentagon, 5 points, each representing a key factor. These 5 factors decide whether a nut is more likely to behave like a kidney friend or a kidney foe. Once you learn them, you'll never have to rely on internet hype again. The first point of the pentagon is potassium. Potassium helps control heart rhythm and muscle function. Healthy kidneys remove excess potassium, helping to maintain a steady heartbeat. But when kidney function weakens, potassium can build up, and that can become dangerous because high potassium can trigger irregular heart rhythms. That's why many kidney-focused plans aim for a serving size with potassium under about 200 milligrams per serving, especially for people who already have high potassium levels on lab tests. Not everyone has the same limit, but as a general safety guideline, the idea of under 200 per serving is a helpful guardrail. The second point is phosphorus, the classic two-faced mineral. Your body needs phosphorus for bones and DNA, yes. But when phosphorus builds up too much, it can pull calcium from bones, making bones brittle over time, while also contributing to calcification in blood vessels. And here's the detail most people never hear. Phosphorus from processed foods is absorbed extremely well, often close to 90%. But phosphorus from natural foods like nuts tends to be absorbed less, often more like 40% to 70%. This is why the ingredient list matters so much. Additives change everything. The third point is protein. Protein is the great paradox for seniors. You need protein to maintain muscle and stay steady on your feet. However, protein also produces waste products that the kidneys must eliminate. It's like needing fire to keep warm, but having to manage the smoke that comes with it. Nuts contain plant protein, which can be gentler than animal protein in some ways, but portion size still matters, especially if kidney function is declining. The fourth point is sodium. Sodium hides in salt and seasoning. Sodium causes your body to retain water like a sponge, raising blood pressure and straining the kidneys. Plain nuts are naturally low in sodium, but flavored nuts, roasted nuts, and packaged snack mixes can carry hidden sodium, even when they're marketed as better for you. So yes, label checking matters. And the fifth point is oxalates. Oxalates are compounds that can bind with calcium and form kidney stones, sharp, painful crystals. If you've ever had a kidney stone or watched someone suffer through one, you know this is not a small problem. Some nuts are very high in oxalates, and that's where a healthy snack can become a painful risk for the wrong person. Now that you understand the rules, let's talk about the 4 nuts that, when chosen carefully and eaten in sensible portions, often behave like the gentlest options for older adults who are trying to protect kidney function. The first angel nut is macadamia. If the nut world had royalty, macadamias would wear the crown, not because they're fancy, but because their mineral profile is unusually kidney-friendly. In 1 ounce of macadamias, you're looking at about 104 milligrams of potassium, 53 milligrams of phosphorus, and roughly 2.2 grams of protein. Compared with many other nuts, those numbers are low. That matters because it reduces the chance that your snack will unknowingly push your potassium or phosphorus upward. But macadamias do more than not cause harm. They're rich in monounsaturated fats, the same family of fats found in olive oil. Those fats support the cardiovascular system, and that's not a side story. Heart health and kidney health are tightly connected. Your kidneys are full of tiny blood vessels. When blood vessels are inflamed or stiff, the kidneys suffer. Therefore, foods that support vessel health can indirectly support kidney health. If you enjoy macadamias, a practical serving size is about 10 to 12 nuts, which is roughly an ounce. Many people do best having them as a small snack a couple of hours after lunch, when steady energy is needed and a blood sugar crash is avoided. The key is to choose raw and unsalted when possible. And because macadamias are high in oil, they can go rancid if stored at a warm temperature for too long. Please keep them in an airtight container in the refrigerator. Fresh macadamias should have a light, sweet, and buttery aroma. If you notice a stale, bitter, or paint-like smell, toss them. Rancid oils aren't doing your body any favors. Now, if macadamias feel too expensive, don't worry. The next angel nut is often more budget-friendly and still protective. The second angel nut is pecans. Pecans are like the wise advisor, quietly influential, often affordable, and packed with protective compounds. In 1 ounce of pecans, you're looking at about 116 milligrams of potassium and 79 milligrams of phosphorus. Still comfortably under that potassium guardrail many kidney patients aim for. One special reason pecans shine is that they contain natural compounds called phytates. These compounds can bind to specific minerals and reduce the amount of absorption. It's like pecans come with a built-in moderation system, and pecans are also antioxidant rich. Antioxidants work like a cleanup crew, helping to reduce oxidative stress that can quietly damage blood vessels over time, including those in the kidneys. A simple way to use pecans is to chop them and add them to oatmeal in the morning or sprinkle them on a salad. If chewing hard nuts is difficult, chopping or lightly grinding them makes them safer and easier to eat. One important tip: avoid buying pre-chopped pecans that have been sitting on shelves for an extended period. The more surface area exposed, the faster the oils oxidize and the quicker the nut can become rancid. Store pecans in the refrigerator for several months, or freeze them for longer storage. Good pecans look plump and smell pleasantly nutty, not bitter. Now, let's talk about the third angel nut, the one that earns its place because of a unique fat that supports the heart and blood vessels. The third angel nut is English walnuts. Walnuts are special because they provide a significant amount of plant-based omega-3 fat, known as ALA. Most people hear the term omega-3 and think only of fish, but walnuts provide this nutrient in a plant-based form. Why does that matter? Because chronic inflammation and cardiovascular strain are major contributors to kidney decline in many people. Supporting the heart and circulation often supports the kidneys. In 1 ounce of English walnuts, you'll see about 125 milligrams of potassium, 98 milligrams of phosphorus, and about 4.3 grams of protein. For many older adults with creatinine concerns, those numbers can still fit into a kidney-friendly plan when portion sizes are respected. It's also important to note that we're discussing English walnuts here. Black walnuts often contain higher amounts of specific nutrients and may be a riskier option for some individuals. A practical serving is about 7 to 10 walnut halves, which is approximately an ounce. Many people do well having walnuts 3 to 5 times per week, especially with meals. Walnuts pair beautifully with salads, olive oil dressings, or yogurt. If you don't love the taste, lightly toasting them in a dry pan for a couple of minutes can bring out flavor. No oil, no salt. But walnuts have one weakness: they go rancid easily because those omega-3 fats are delicate. Store walnuts in a cold, airtight container and discard them if they taste bitter or have a paint-like smell. Now for the fourth angel nut, the one that surprises almost everyone because it doesn't behave like a typical nut at all. The fourth angel nut is chestnuts. Chestnuts are not like almonds or pecans. They're much higher in carbohydrates and much lower in fat and protein. In fact, they digest more like a gentle, starchy food, almost like a sweet potato in disguise, than like a rich nut. Chestnuts matter for kidney health because their protein is extremely low, meaning they create minimal creatinine-related waste compared with many other nuts. In 1 ounce of chestnuts, you may see about 168 milligrams of potassium, only about 30 milligrams of phosphorus, and less than 1 gram of protein. That low phosphorus number is especially striking. Chestnuts also contain resistant starch, which feeds beneficial gut bacteria. And the gut matters more than most people realize because the microbiome can influence how certain toxins and waste products are handled, especially when kidney function declines. Many people think chestnuts only appear at Christmas, but you can often find them year-round in Asian grocery stores or even in many supermarkets as vacuum-packed cooked chestnuts. Just check the label for added salt. Fresh chestnuts should be firm and heavy with no cracks or holes. And never eat chestnuts that smell off or show mold. A reasonable serving is about 3 to 4 chestnuts. One caution: chestnuts contain carbs about 15 grams per ounce. So if you're managing blood sugar closely, you'll want to fit them into your overall plan. Now that we've covered the heroes, we need to discuss the other side of the coin. Because with kidneys, what you avoid can matter just as much as what you add. Let's start with the nut that truly deserves caution for many people with kidney concerns: Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts are not bad in the sense that they're poisonous. They can support thyroid and immunity in small amounts. The problem is that they contain an astonishing amount of selenium. Just one Brazil nut can contain around 96 micrograms of selenium, nearly double the daily recommended intake of 55 micrograms. The upper safe limit is approximately 400 micrograms per day. That means eating just 4 or 5 Brazil nuts repeatedly, especially if you also take supplements, can lead to selenium excess. Over time, this can cause symptoms such as hair loss, brittle nails, nausea, fatigue, skin changes, and in more serious cases, nerve-related problems. Severe cases are rare, but the risk becomes more real when kidney function is reduced and the body has less flexibility. In addition to selenium, Brazil nuts are also among the highest in phosphorus, often containing over 200 milligrams per ounce. When kidneys can't filter phosphorus well, it builds up, pulling calcium from bones and contributing to calcification in blood vessels. So, the best advice for many kidney-conscious older adults is simple. Treat Brazil nuts like a special case, not a daily snack. And watch for hidden Brazil nuts in mixed nut blends, snack bars, and certain nut butters. Now, the next nut is tricky because it's so popular and so often marketed as healthy: pistachios. Pistachios can be a potassium time bomb for people with kidney issues. They contain about 285 to 290 milligrams of potassium per ounce, which is roughly 50% above the under 200 milligrams per serving guardrail. Many kidney patients try to stay under. Add in notable phosphorus and protein, and you get a concentrated stress package in a small serving. But what really makes pistachios risky is not just their nutrient profile, it's how easy they are to overeat. You crack them one by one, which feels slow and mindful. But that ritual tricks your brain. You can eat several servings without realizing it, especially in front of the TV. And high potassium isn't just a sleepy symptom. High potassium can lead to muscle weakness and, more importantly, dangerous heart rhythm changes. If your doctor has ever warned you about potassium, be cautious when consuming pistachios. If you love the hand-to-mouth ritual of shelling, consider alternatives like sunflower seeds in the shell, which can offer the same satisfaction with significantly lower potassium levels, depending on the product. Now we arrive at the nut that surprises many Americans the most, because it's practically a symbol of healthy eating: almonds. Almonds are popular for good reasons in people with healthy kidneys. But for those with kidney concerns, almonds can be a double threat. The mineral load is one part of the story. Almonds can be relatively high in phosphorus, and the bigger part of the story is what isn't apparent on the nutrition label: oxalates. Almonds are among the highest oxalate foods, with around 122 milligrams of oxalates per ounce. For individuals prone to kidney stones, many specialists recommend keeping total daily oxalate intake significantly lower, often around 40 to 50 milligrams per day. That means a single serving of almonds can triple that amount in one shot. Oxalates can bind with calcium in the urine, forming crystals. If you've ever had kidney stones, you know those crystals can feel like sharp needles. For individuals prone to kidney stones, almonds can be like rolling the dice with your kidney comfort. And modern almond products concentrate the risk: almond flour, almond butter, almond milk. Additionally, some commercial almond products contain phosphate additives to enhance texture or prolong shelf life, creating an even more kidney-unfriendly combination. If you need a substitute, many people do better with options like sunflower seeds or hazelnuts, depending on their lab values. And for baking, sunflower seed flour can often replace almond flour. Now, with all of that said, I want to slow down and be very clear. These are not devil nuts. They have benefits in the proper context and with the right person. But if you have kidney concerns, your goal is not to follow food trends. Your goal is to protect the organs that protect you. Let's discuss how to apply this information in real-life situations without feeling overwhelmed. The one-size-fits-all approach does not work for kidney nutrition, especially as we age. Your kidney function, medications, and dietary needs shift with time. Here is a simple, practical guide that many older adults can use as a starting point, and then personalize with their healthcare provider. If you're between 50 and 65, with early kidney concerns and mildly elevated creatinine, you may tolerate about 1/4 cup of kidney-friendlier nuts 3 to 4 times per week. At this stage, many people still have some kidney reserve. The right nuts, in reasonable portions, can nourish without overloading, especially if you're watching your labs. If you're between 65 and 75 years old and noticing more kidney decline or rising creatinine levels, scale down portions to about 2 to 3 tablespoons. Stick more often with the lowest mineral options, like pecans and macadamias. And if you're over 75 or managing advanced kidney disease with significantly elevated labs, keep portions small, 1 to 2 tablespoons at most, and choose the gentlest options. At this age, chewing hard nuts can also raise choking risk, so chopping or grinding can make nuts safer while still giving you the nutrition. Now here's a significant mindset shift. Don't just look at whether your numbers are labeled normal or abnormal. Watch trends. A creatinine that slowly climbs from 1.2 to 1.4 to 1.6 tells a story, even if each result doesn't look terrifying on its own. If your potassium or phosphorus levels are creeping upward over time, that's your body asking for a gentler plan. Smaller portions, fewer servings, or different choices. And please don't skip this part, because it's where many people get blindsided. The difference between a safe snack and a dangerous one often lies in the details manufacturers don't make obvious. Always scan ingredient lists for any word containing phos. Those phosphate additives are absorbed extremely efficiently. They can turn a seemingly innocent snack into a phosphorus problem. Also, remember, natural has no legal meaning for kidney safety. Organic refers to pesticides, not minerals. Raw means not roasted, but nuts can still be treated or processed in ways that add sodium. The safest choice is usually raw, unsalted, with the shortest ingredient list possible. And one last practical tip. Buying nuts in bulk can save money, but it also increases the risk of rancidity and makes portion control harder. Many people do better buying smaller amounts more often or pre-portioning servings at home so a handful doesn't quietly become 3. Now let's bring everything together, because I want you to leave this video feeling more confident, not more anxious. Today, you learned how to distinguish kidney heroes from kidney troublemakers. You learned the nutrition pentagon, potassium, phosphorus, protein, sodium, and oxalates, and how those 5 factors decide whether a nut fits a kidney-conscious plan. And you now have a clear list to start with. The 4 angel nuts we covered were: macadamias are unusually low in minerals and rich in heart-friendly fats. Pecans, which offer a kidney-gentle mineral profile and antioxidant support. English walnuts, which provide plant-based omega-3 seconds that support blood vessels and inflammation balance. And chestnuts, which are low in protein and phosphorus and digest more like a gentle starch, are often easier on the kidney workload. And the 3 nuts to be extra cautious with, especially if you have kidney concerns, were Brazil nuts, because of selenium overload risk and very high phosphorus. Pistachios are high in potassium and can be easily overeaten without realizing it. And almonds, because of their double threat, higher phosphorus plus very high oxalates, perilous for people prone to kidney stones, and even more concerning in concentrated almond products. Now, I'd like to hear from you. Which nut on the dangerous list surprised you the most? Was it the humble almond, the healthy pistachio, or the Brazil nut selenium issue? Tell me in the comments. I read them, and your questions often become the basis for the following video. And one final reminder, said with care, even the safest nut becomes risky in large quantities. Portion size matters. Your labs matter. Your medications matter. This information is designed to empower you to make informed choices and have more effective conversations with your doctor or a renal dietitian because your care should be personalized. If this helped you, subscribe and turn on notifications. The sooner you spot kidney trouble, the more you can do to keep things steady. And if you're unsure about your kidney health right now, check the video on your screen. Next, we'll walk you through the early warning signs that many people miss so that you can take action sooner, not later. Stay informed, stay steady, and I'll see you in the next one.